Hello and welcome to this week's This is Media City. I'm Stephen Chapman. I'm joined by two co-hosts this show because we are going to talk to Animal Direction about the amazing stuff they do on set of films, television and advertising, and we'll hear a lot more from these two later on. Davinia and Rachel, welcome to This is Media City podcast, plus two extremely special guests. Introduce us to the main characters down here.
We've got Tehya, who is 12 years old, Shih Tzu Jack Russell Cross, and we've got Maycee, who is 3, and she's also a Shih Tzu Jack Russell Cross, but different litters. We're
going to talk about their amazing media careers shortly, but what we do at the start of This is Media City is we do an icebreaker to find out a little bit more about the people sitting on the couch.
Go on, then.
You can wait for your icebreaker, you'll be fine, unless you can take it over. I don't think so.
Right. I'm going to take
that
one.
It's not for you, Tehya. Thank you.
Okay.
Ooh, okay.
What's yours? Ooh, that's interesting.
Yes.
Go on, Rachel, do you want to go first?
Yeah, so mine is, what animal would you like to be for a day? You know, that could be so many. That could be so many. Having just been to Kenya, maybe one of the big cats.
Oh, right. Lots of sleeping, but then lots of chasing.
Yeah, maybe a cheetah or something.
Oh, nice.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
And what about your...
Well,
actually, why didn't you answer that question as well? What would you be?
Oh, what would I be? I'd like to be a cat, I think. Yeah, but a domestic cat. Have all my food brought to me, a fuss when I want one. Lying in the sun. Yeah, pretty much just chilling out all day.
Have you seen the look that these two dogs
Yeah.
are giving you? You both mentioned cats.
Yeah.
You both mentioned it. It's not even... It wasn't even like subtle.
Hide your ears, girls.
Never even contemplated dogs, I'm afraid, guys. Okay, what was your question?
My question is, hidden Media City gem.
Yes.
Oh.
Because you've been here a while, haven't
Yes,
you? So
I
you must
have.
know some of the hidden gems.
Yeah, well, there's so many, isn't there? I actually really like the Blue Peter Garden, although it's not quite so hidden. But Tehya really enjoys having a walk around there.
There are fish in the pond as well,
Yeah,
aren't
she
there?
loves having a good old sniff when she goes and finds Shep as well. Us, we're the Media City gem, of course.
Yes.
Of course. Right, let's get on to you guys, because Animal Direction, you're at Blue Tower, are you?
Yes, we're at Blue at the moment, yeah.
How long have you been here?
We have been here since 2016, so what's that, 9 years?
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
And what is it that you do over in Blue Tower?
A lot of it is speaking to pet owners who want to register their pets with us to become the next budding models. But also we're talking to production companies, directors, creative agencies, discussing briefs, so about the pet talent that they want to include in their production. And it's so varied. I mean, there's no day that's the same, really.
No.
We can be working on a TV commercial, casting for a dog, perhaps to be, in a lifestyle brand TV commercial.
Lots of sofa adverts.
Lots of super adverts, yeah.
This is why they feel so comfortable.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And the dog is obviously quite popular, being the part of the family member. But then we could also be working on a TV series, at the same time as well. So there's a lot of logistical nightmares.
Like we did like Judge Rinder, didn't we? Here
Here at Doc 10, yeah. We did quite a bit with Doc 10 actually. We did, what was the name of that programme? We did the grooming one.
Oh, Pooch Perfect.
Pooch Perfect, that was filmed downstairs in Doc 10.
That was a big old one, wasn't it?
That was big and
Yeah. It was really good actually. It was like Bake Off for dog groomers. Yeah, so that was quite good.
And what have these two been in? Because we're not talking about any old pups down here, are we? These two dogs here
these two are models. They are, yeah. So Tehya's slightly more famous than Maycee. Maycee has worked for Pets at Home, and she's on their website at the moment, I believe, as have your dogs.
Yes, yeah.
Tehya has also done some Pets at Home work. She has done, quite recently, she worked with Jimmy Carr on 8 out of 10 Cats Does Countdown, and that was here at Doc 10 as well.
And maths is good, is it?
Yes, very good. Yeah. She got all the numbers. Yeah. No, she did 2 little scenes actually. It was quite funny. One of them was she was sat on this like plinth, and Jimmy Carr was shouting commands at her: sit, stay, roll over, fetch, and she just sat there and just looked at him. And she's got quite a funny little face, being a Shih Tzu cross, so she gave him a right filthy look. Like, what are you talking about? So yeah, that was quite good.
So is there, I mean, you've also got another part of your business as well, haven't you? Because you're trained kind of down the veterinary side as well,
Yes,
haven't you?
yeah.
So tell me about, it's called Vet on Set, isn't it?
Yeah, Vet on Set. So I'm a qualified veterinary nurse. So I'm in my 27th year as a qualified vet nurse.
Okay.
I'm still in practice, so I'm kind of 2 days a week now. But I met Davinia, 10 years.
I think it was 2014.
Yeah. So she was short of a dog handler, and obviously being a vet nurse, we're a dab hand at dog handling. And there actually was a vet on the set that day, but the vet was actually like 3 rooms away on the laptop, and I'm like, that's not what you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be on set, monitoring, being able to step in if you need to, because it's not all about waiting till the animal has an injury, it's all about risk assessment and making sure that the doors are closed and simple things like that, and that the dog is not over, or any of the animal is not overworked. So we just kind of looked at each other. We kind of looked at each other and went, So we set our own company up, Vet on Set. So we do more of a bespoke service. So we'll do pre-production, post-production, and we're there on set. Monitoring, yeah. We also follow, which is very important, and it's getting more well known now, the British Veterinary Association guidelines on responsible advertising. So we're trying to urge companies not to use and definitely follow the BVA guidelines, which is 5 guidelines. Mainly, it's not to use anything that is of what we call extreme features. So nothing what we call brachycephalic, so nothing extreme features like pugs and Frenchies and things like that.
Okay, so it's more
for health issues, and nothing with alteration. So that means no cropping, no tail docking, etc., etc.
Which we still see.
Yes,
And I still see them trying to register with us, and we obviously don't accept them because it's illegal.
Yeah. I mean,
So
there is some animal.
Something that the productions probably don't even think about.
It's not known.
We've turned up at monitoring jobs before, and there's been these dogs on, and you have to have the confidence to step in what might be a very expensive shoot. Yes. Especially like, I think the last one I decided to step in was a car brand, and they'd just got the dogs from a Facebook post. So all these random dogs turned up, and half of them were totally unsuitable. And I had to step in and tell them, and you have to have the guts to do that, because to stop a production, it's not going to go down very well. I would have thought, because
I'm a producer in the day job, I would have thought the thought process behind hiring children as well, hiring animals, I thought there were proper guidelines that we
there are guidelines, but because they're not legal or illegal, then they try and get around them,
And so it's down to interpretation.
Yeah, down to interpretation. What we're trying to do is protect the brand as well. You know, they don't want something that's going to be, on TV or whatever, if they've got a dog that's going to incite a lot of complaints. So I try and get that across to them. I said, you can't have this dog on, you're going to get complaints. And sometimes that works,
It works more often, actually, doesn't it? Because it'll be social media these days, and the dog world as well, in particular, quite opinionated. So it doesn't take much for a social media frenzy to kick off if somebody notices something that is perhaps unethical or mistreating an animal or not presenting them in the right way and things like that.
So that's why you've involved a lot in the pre-production as well.
I think we did one, we just gave some advice for a children's programme, didn't we, last year, where they sent us the snippets they were going to use, and we had to sort of critique it, if you like. And I think they had a 5-year-old child running down the street with a dog on an extender flexi lead, and they said, you can't do that, and you can't do that, and you can't do that. So they had to scrap it.
So this is what you mean by every day is different.
Every day is different. Absolutely.
And you've talked a lot about the dogs, even though you're both cat people. We
didn't say that. We didn't say that, honestly.
What type of animals can people request from you guys? Is it mainly dogs, or is there a whole host?
It is mostly cats and dogs, isn't it?
Mostly
But
cats and dogs.
we had a fantastic shoot was it 2 weeks ago? For Pets at Home again, we do quite a bit of work with Pets at Home. And there was loads of animals. Oh, it was the best day of my life. We had rabbits, we had a tortoise, we had a gecko, we had a snake.
Yeah.
The first time I've handled a snake. And I was a bit apprehensive, but I did actually touch the snake. We had, what else was there that day? Oh, cockatiels.
Cockatiels. That was my friend's cockatiels, yeah. Yeah, they're really
guinea
tame.
pigs.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
that
did
was
you
a
supply
fabulous
all
day.
of these?
Yeah, yeah.
So how on earth do you, if someone says, I want a cockatiel and a gecko and a snake, what process do you go through? Not that I want one, by the way.
Do you know what? It is because we've been doing this for so many years now. We've got a really wide network of people that we work with, collaborate with, but also pet owners are registering with us, and we've got a registration process via the website. So there's quite a detailed registration form.
This is very impressive.
She
skills.
loves being a meerkat. She does.
I've never seen a meerkat before. I feel that's wrong. Hello. Sorry,
She
carry on
loves
with
to
your
fuss that one.
with your website.
So pet owners can register online through the website, and it is mostly cats and dogs, but we get weird and wonderful pets being registered as well, and when they register, it's lovely because it's something different, and then we can push those a little bit more and talk to some of our producers and agencies that that we've got good relationships with, and they will sometimes feed that into their creativity, into their storyboards and things. So we've got a giant tortoise called Ronnie who lives around here actually in Eccles. And I've not got him.
When you said it lives around here, I was thinking
He's huge. He's like this big, and I'm dying. He registered recently, and I'm dying to get him some work. I'm sure we will soon. But
and that's it. The animals have got to be suitable as well, So the animals have got to have, especially the dogs, have got basic obedience and not nervous of the equipment and the lights and the flashing and things like that. Yeah. So, and I'm the first to say that dog's not happy.
Basic obedience, like Tehya is displaying signs of right now with her talking all the way through.
I think it's called demanding.
Yes, it is.
Have you ever watched Frasier? I'm starting to think that you and I have that kind of relationship. Yeah. Now, I do have a dog. And she won Puppy of MediaCity Puppy of the Year.
Congratulations.
I think from you guys. I don't know if you've done a dog competition.
We've done a few.
Yeah.
The other puppy knocked the medal off the thing, but that's glued back together. Unfortunately, her tail is a bit
Yep, we did that
waggy,
one.
so.
I recognise the award.
But what I did is, because she's a wannabe film star, we filmed her last night to see if she could be, because she's very disobedient. She's a golden retriever, so I mean she should be quite sensible. Can you tell me if this is what dogs should be doing on set? Turn around, sit, lie down. Oh, champion.
Yeah.
Oh, that's things we can work with.
Yeah. I think the sit and stay is the base for everything, because what we get.
The personality of the dog must be super important to this kind of thing.
Definitely, yeah.
So when people come on to speak to you, how much do you have to go through that? Because I mean, for example, our dog, you've seen her doing the sit, stand, turn around, but it would have to be a small film crew because she would have to greet everyone individually, and if anybody didn't, she'd sit in front of them and howl until they did. So I don't think she'd necessarily be all that good on set. But what is it? Because presumably that's something you don't know until the lights, camera action happens.
And that's kind of where the welfare step in, because we'll say, right, the dog needs time to get to know everybody, and we don't let them jump straight in. Yeah.
It's all about settling them in first. I mean, it's a very unusual environment for any pet, isn't it? It's a little bit easy with dogs because we can encourage it and make it more fun, make it into a game. And generally, most dogs are quite happy to meet new people. Obviously, it's not suitable for every animal. Certainly not suitable for every dog. But yeah, that's the very important point actually, that we introduce the animal, whatever animal it is, in time for them to get used to the environment, to get used to the lights, to get used to the fact that they're not in any danger and it's all perfectly safe.
And every dog's different. I mean, my first dog, she would just take it in a stride. You know, you could take her. And,
I did.
She'd be fine. Yeah, she'd be fine. But the dog that I'm using at the moment, my Fox Red Lab, she's a lot more sensitive. So generally I have to be the handler because I know what she can and can't do. But she's been on a lot of stuff, and I prepped her right from the breeder I know because she's a friend. I said, right, as soon as the eyes open and the ears open, I want you to play flashing sounds, flashing noises, etc., etc. So by the time she was 10 weeks, she was a natural in the studio already. And she's done a lot of stuff. So we've been on Dragon's Den. She was Linda Biscuits, the big character of the Joe Lycett show last year, and 2 years ago, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
2 series. She was the camera dog. Yeah.
That was a fabulous show.
Yeah.
So
just prepping them.
Yeah. So that must have been quite difficult to get them sitting there and doing the thing. But that's all the training you've had before.
Yeah.
So dogs, I can appreciate they're quite good at being trained. But what about the other animals? Yeah, how do you know when a parrot's going to behave well? Tortoise, I imagine, is relatively simple to control. But some of the other animals, I imagine, are a bit more difficult. Certainly the larger ones as well.
Yeah.
How do you know that that's going to work? Because they're pets, aren't they?
Yeah, they are pets, and that is the basis of our company. They are pets, and we don't have any performing animals, as it were, registered with us. This is very much a pet casting agency. But yeah, I mean, it's all down to the registration process and the casting process. So we take the brief from the agency or the director or the producer. We understand as much as we possibly can. Quite often it changes when we get there, but at least we've tried to do our due diligence in casting the right animal, because it's not just, I want a yellow lab, can you get me a yellow lab? Yeah. What do you want the lab to do? What's the environment?
Maybe some video footage from the owner showing what they can and can't do.
We tend to do a video interview. We want to see the relationship between the owner and the animal, because that's really important. If they've got a really good, strong relationship, then that makes things a lot easier when we're on set. We've got things to work with.
And we also send, both companies, we send a representative as well. Some animal casting agencies, they send the owner and the animal with no representative from the company, and if it's a pet owner, it might be the first time on set. They don't know what happens, and they don't know how to get the best from the dog. It needs an animal handler as a
chaperone, really.
And also so that's another thing we do.
Yeah, just somebody who would has that authority to be able to assess the situation. And monitor the dog's behaviour while they're there, and to be able to recognise, well, hang on, this dog's looking like they need a drink, or they need to go outside, or and it's just being able to make that decision, get it done, and then back on set as quickly if there's least disruptions possible. The
other thing we're finding that's happening at the moment as well, and probably to save costs, is that we might turn up on set and they might say, right, you might let me know there's 5 dogs on set. 2 of them might be from our agency, and then 3 of them, they've just asked the actors or the SAs to bring their own dog. And then when you get there, the dog's not suitable, and has a lot of implications legally as well, because if the dog is working on set, it's classed as working, and it makes their pet insurance invalid.
Oh, right, okay.
So if the dog is injured, then who's covering that? If the dog's or the animal is via an agency, everything's covered, the public liability, any injuries, anything like that. And I don't think a lot of people realise the implications of just asking an SA, you haven't got a dog, have you? Bring it along. That's happening a lot.
Yeah, and it happens to save budget, I think, mostly.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not just as simple as...
And then the animal is on set all day, because you know how long an SA or an actor's got to be there. It's from dawn till dusk, isn't it? And then the animal's hanging around. That's a welfare issue. Yeah.
Because animals have quite strict rules about how long they can be filmed.
And especially cats. A lot of cats turn up with no litter trays from other sources. The cat needs to be within half an hour from home, needs to have a litter tray, it needs to have somewhere private to go to the toilet, because the medical implications of a cat not being able to go to the toilet can be potentially serious. UTIs and blocked bladders and things like that. Yeah, so
cat has to be half an hour from.
Why
is that?
Yeah, to keep
toileting
to a minimum.
Toileting.
Mostly toileting.
You take a dog outside.
Can't with a cat, can you?
Needs a litter
You
tray.
contemplate that as a...
So not only have you got the time of being on set to consider, you've also got the travel time where they're not going to the toilet.
Yeah,
So
I
half an hour.
did a step in one last year, I think it was, where a cat come with an SA from London to Manchester, set off at 5 a.m, was on set all day, and I still stepped in at lunchtime and said, you're going to have to go, because it's going to take you 4 hours to get back to London. And they wanted the SA for again on at 5 p.m. I said, no, this cat shouldn't be here, you know, things like that.
It's just consideration of the animal's welfare, you know, it's basic stuff really. But, you know, on the flip side, we do understand that there is another job to do. They're trying to create a production, they're trying to, you know, there's so many moving parts, we totally understand that. But it's our job to make sure that the animal's looked after, you know, that's why we're here.
Is it a surprise to you when obviously an animal is going to be so key to a production that maybe the production team have thought, oh, we'll just get one in, or I've got a dog, it'll be fine. Is that...
It happens a lot.
Yeah, and it's always a surprise actually, yeah. So we hear of it, you know, more often than we would like. And we don't always hear about it until the day as well. If we do hear about it the day before, then we do point out the implications with the pet insurance, with the trainability, with the fact that the owner has got a job to do while they're there, so who's looking after their pet while they're working, you know, and things like that. And sometimes once we point it out, you know, they do go, oh yeah, actually, no, that does make sense, we hadn't considered it, which is fair enough. But then if we turn up on the day, then we just have to manage it as best we can, really. And we'll step in, we'll take control of the dog if we have to, you know, in terms of looking after them if their owner has got work to do. These dogs come to me to work every day, but I make sure that I take them out I make sure I take them out regularly. You know, we have 3 walks during the day while I'm at work. I know that when we're in the office, they sleep.
That sounds like me. What is a typical kind of day on set?
Usually chaos to start with.
Yeah.
Well, the first thing we would do is introduce, if it's a dog, if it's one of these, we'll introduce them to the space, to the people, walk them around the set. If it's indoors, we just make sure we're doing a bit of a risk assessment first of all. Actually, we're seeing where all the cables are, where are the hidey holes, where are the potential escape routes, is the door open, how many people are here. So we'll do all that sort of stuff first, and then when it's time to work, we'll introduce them slowly, you know, and we'll do some practicing, and then we'll take it from there. But we're always assessing all the time.
Yeah, my role is similar, but what I do is just a quick health check. I'll make sure that the animal is registered with a vet. If they're out of the area, I do a quick Google search as to which is the closest vets. So that goes on the risk assessment. Right, the closest vets is 0.7 of a mile away. It takes 5 minutes journey-wise, so it's in my head if something happens. I've got a car that is fully equipped for putting dogs in, with enclosed crates and things like that. Got first aid kits, etc. So if anything sudden happens, then we can do something straight away and we can get to the vet. Because if it's an emergency, you can go to any vet if it's an emergency. Health check, make sure that they're insured, check their insurance. Also, if they're working outside, they need to have ID on, so they have to have a tag on. And we get that a lot where dogs are... I did one not so long back where they wanted a dog running in a playing field and it had no tag on, no collar, and I said, you need to get a collar and tag on that. Why? Because you're in a public area and it's illegal not to have the dog's ID on. Oh, right, okay. I've never heard of that before. So, you know,
So it's things like when they're thinking, oh, I want to film a stray dog, they've got to think, okay, well, we need to do it in a different area.
Yeah.
And what happens, because, I mean, we all turn up to work some days and go, I'm not going to perform today, this isn't me. We can talk to humans and get over that, but if it's a parrot, a dog, a cat, whatever it might be, how do you get over that? They're just not in the zone today.
It has happened, actually.
Yeah,
it's happened with cats more often. I can't think of a time where it's happened with a dog, to be honest.
That's because you're so good.
Yeah, exactly.
We can always make it fun and into a game with a dog. If it ever happens with a dog, it's because they're not well. And then it's just a case of, you know, thinking on your feet, okay, we need a replacement dog. And like I say, we've got
we do have backups.
Yeah, we've got backups. Yeah. You know, in that sort of situation, the production companies are always understanding. Because it's one of those things, isn't it? You could book an actor and they could be unwell on the day, and then you just have to think on your feet and either find a replacement or work around it. With cats, we have had a couple of instances where they've not wanted to play ball on the day. We do normally, 90% of the time, have a backup cat option who would stay at home and be on call. And you know, we've called on that instance a couple of times, not very often, but a couple of times, and that has really been if it's perhaps been the cat's first time, but they've proved very well during the casting process, but for whatever reason just didn't like it on the day.
We have a core amount of cats that are just amazing, aren't
We've
they?
got some fabulous, especially in
They just
Manchester, we've got
sit there.
fabulous ones.
Yeah. And there's one girl that trains her cat. She trains it to jump up and go left and go right,
Go to a mark.
Go to a marker and things like that. Just clicker training, amazing. Yeah.
You can clicker train a cat.
Yeah.
The dogs are really not happy about us talking about cats. I've noticed
Sorry,
that
Tehya.
all the way through.
Look at her face. Filthy look. Sorry.
What's your weirdest request been?
Weirdest request. What?
Was it not the dogs mating each other?
Oh my goodness, yes.
I'm sorry.
They wanted a shot, and I'm not going to say who it was.
I'd erased this from my memory, literally.
They wanted a shot for a trailer of
It was
two
a
dogs
comedy
at
programme.
it.
It was a comedy programme.
And we said, you cannot do that.
We were outraged. I was like, oh, are you joking? No, that's what we want. No.
No.
And then they did a workaround, didn't they? So they were going to do like a fancy camera trick to make it look like they had or were about to, but we wouldn't obviously allow it in real life. But then we got there and they'd booked two other dogs from somewhere else, and they did it. They did it. And we had a vet.
Not the full thing.
No.
But just...
But the
mounting.
action of mounting and...
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well let's just film that, shall we? Let's get two people doing the same thing, shall we? That'd be fun. That's funny.
Wow.
Oh, honestly, that was so. We were really upset about that,
wrong,
weren't
yes. Yeah.
So what happens in that situation? Do you have to put a complaint in, or do you just leave?
We did.
Yeah.
So our vet, it wasn't you actually on set that time, was it?
No.
But our vet who was there phoned me straight away and told me they're actually going to do this scene, and I said no way, don't let it happen. And she didn't let it happen fully. So what happened was they went back to plan A, where they were going to do the camera trick in terms of cutting, so it would just look like it had implied. And my vet was there making sure that nothing untoward happened. But yeah, I mean, the male dog did actually go to mount the female, but my vet got there just in time to get him away so that it didn't actually make contact. But it did look like it on camera. And there were some social media complaints about it. But it was funny. You know, it's not funny.
Okay, let's talk about the funniest clip then. What's the funniest one you've done?
Oh, we've done
Like
lots of funny ones, actually. when Tehya did 8 out of 10 cats, actually, that was funny. And all the audience were laughing. Because the other scene that she did, as well as the Jimmy Carr telling her to do all these tricks and she wouldn't do them, the other one was she was dressed in the same outfit as him. And so she came out of this machine that they'd propped. Yeah. And I was inside this machine holding on to her until it was time to release her, and she came out wearing the same suit. So that was good fun, and it was funny.
I think probably the Joe Lycett, that was
Joe
really,
Lycett was funny.
Yeah,
He's
with
a
my
funny
dog
guy,
as Linda Biscuits. He named the character Linda Biscuits. So she had this like 30-second skit on every episode. It was funny. Yeah.
Working with rabbits as well is hilarious.
Yeah, they're funny.
So we just the other week when we had 3 rabbits on set, you put one in place and you go, all right, lovely, that's sitting nicely. Go and get the other one, put it in place. The other one hops off. So then you go and get the other one, and you're constantly just picking rabbits up all the time. Go, get that one over there, pick that one up. He's gone over there. No, don't hop that way. You want him to hop this way. That was a lot of fun. Yeah. It was really good. A lot of bending down and picking rabbits up that day.
And the kittens are funny because especially if they're like really social, they're like going sideways like this. Yeah.
Are there any productions you'd like to work on, supply animals to?
We were just talking about this earlier. I'd like to see welfare on more mainstream because at the moment for Clearcast, the only requirements for welfare attendance is anything that's advertising that's going on TV. So that's why we do a lot of adverts.
So social media doesn't...
This is the funny thing, really.
So a couple of years back, I did a trailer for Emmerdale because there was an animal on it. And I was there all day for like a split-second shot. But when they're running their normal episodes... when
Macy's just jumping off the settee.
when they're filming their normal episodes, which is a ton of animals, they don't need welfare. Okay. So I'd love that to change, where there's a welfare person on every filming situation, just to give advice. Really,
advertising requires it, but broadcasting and social media not as much. So okay, and that's down to that. Are there any animals apart from hello again? We're doing the stare thing, aren't we? Hello. Are there any animals you'd love to work with? Breeds, styles, types, whatever that might be.
I love working with Afghans actually because they're just flop.
Yeah.
I do like them. I mean, getting them to do stuff is quite challenging, but they just look beautiful. And when they're not working, they're just a rug. Yeah. I do like working with those.
Yeah, I'd like to do more kind of the exotics.
Yeah.
Like the wolves and stuff like that, maybe.
Yeah. I like doing, like different shoots where we've got a couple of German Shepherds actually who do a lot of work in trials. They're the softest dogs in the world, but put them into a certain situation and they can look ferocious. Like her, yeah, absolutely. So one of them was in a TV series called Protection not long ago with Siobhan Finneman.
Oh yeah, I watched that.
And this German Shepherd was the guard dog of the baddie, and she was chained to a wall and she had to bark, and she really is the most softest, dopiest German Shepherd in the world, but she looked ferocious just through training, and scenes like that they're a challenge, but they're really rewarding because you see just a different side of the dog, and turning this docile, the most friendliest dog into this looking ferocious. It's good. It's rewarding. You do feel like you've accomplished something on shoots like that.
Definitely.
Have you got some questions to ask? Do you want me to send it around? You got your chance to put them on the spot. No, just bored by the whole experience. I get it.
She says just love
just
me.
Just keep tickling.
So what is next for you guys?
Oh, more of the same, I think. We are championing animal welfare on TV, like we've said before, on all sets. It'd be great to be able to, just get the word out more to production companies and creative agencies that, just how important welfare is. And not just for advertising TV commercials.
Yeah, for their product as well.
Yeah, it is, And, animals are a part of our life, they're part of our family. And presenting them in the right way can only encourage better and more responsible pet ownership.
Yeah.
And that's what we would love to be able to have a voice for. Working a bit more alongside TV producers would be our
You're
goal.
in the right place.
Yes.
Absolutely, yeah. That's why we're here in MediaCity.
And how's it been at MediaCity? As expanding, growing,
enjoying? Absolutely. Well, we were based over in the greenhouse when we first came over, and then obviously that got demolished, and so we moved over to Blue. Actually, I quite like it being in Blue because we're right by Dock 10 Studio, so I can just nip down. So if we're talking to some of the producers, about doing some casting, I can just nip down and have a chat with them. So that's really good. We've also worked with a few agencies here who are based here as well, like Equator. They've booked us a few times as well for their. I think they work with a few pet food brands, so we've done some work with them. We've got a really good base in Manchester. We've got like a satellite type office in London, so we get a lot of work in London as well. But we've got animals all over the UK, so we can literally go anywhere.
You have to have a cat within half an hour of every production. That's
This is
how
it,
Yeah.
exactly, yeah. Cats
Ideally.
in Bristol have become quite popular for some reason. So we've got quite a few cats in Bristol now.
I get a look every single time we mention the C word.
I know, she used to live with the cat as well. She was best friends with the cat we used to live with, but any other cats, no.
Unfortunately, you've got the wrong angle of this one here, who is giving me one heck of a look. And you seem to be very happy with that kind of scratching. I know you've been here for some time, particularly you two. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say thank you ever so much for coming in and
You're
being
welcome.
on the podcast. Good luck with everything. Good luck with your big career. Okay, and we'll shake on it. Yeah, good luck with your career and a future as a meerkat. You could get dressed up. You could do zoo shows. Think about that as a future. Yeah, the smell my dog on me now. But thank you ever so much for
you're
coming
welcome.
in.
For having us.
Thank you ever so much for watching this week's This Is Media City, which is a 39 Pictures production on behalf of Media City and in partnership with the University of Salford, and all the team behind the scenes are graduates from the university. So please remember to like, subscribe, comment and share, and we shall see you next week. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're clear.
The production team are Meg Bond, Tegan Easton, Akila Hewitt and James Young.